Now, on to your next story. We're going to be talking about, well, welfare. Let's just call it what it is. Guys, with our economy crashing, with our economy going through everything it's going through, and we'll talk about it a little bit later because we're also predicted to go into a recession in 2023. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the show. But we have plenty of areas all across the United States wanting to give out universal basic income. If you guys remember what I was saying about the stimulus checks, I was telling you that it is an introduction into universal basic income. Basically, what it is it's preparing people, it's getting people used to their living expenses being primarily funded through the taxpayer. That's what the whole gimmick is. That's what it's about. And that's what we're going to get into here today. Palm Springs Woke Council votes in pilot scheme to pay 20 tranny residents up to $900 a month for 2 years and universal basic income test. But even city's trans mayor thinks it's a waste of money, which is awesome that the thing thinks it's a waste of money. But I want to make this clear to you. I want you to think about some of the grants that our government gives away to just women or just minorities or now just trans. I'm just kind of curious. Is there a straight white grant? Is there a straight white universal basic income? Don't get me wrong. Most of us are far too proud to even accept anything like this. But the question is, have you noticed that discrimination against us is okay? But discrimination against anyone that's not a white male, a white straight male, is bad. Discrimination against a white straight male is good. Palm Springs Council on Thursday voted to begin a pilot program giving 20, which just means it's the start of the ball rolling, right? Giving 20 transgender or non-binary residents a guaranteed income for 2 years. The scheme will see recipients land handed between $600 and $900 a month, while another control group will just have access to existing social services. Palm Springs is hoping to access some of the $35 million that the state California set aside for universal income pilot schemes. So far, Stockton and Compton, believe it or not, have both trialed schemes, giving a group of residents a guaranteed monthly sum. I'm not surprised. Yet even the mayor of Palm Springs, who is California's first transgender mayor, expresses reservations about the scheme. Let's go ahead and take a look at the news here, because this is definitely a weird story. You know, I'm looking at this from a couple different perspectives, and I know many of you guys are too, so feel free to leave the comments in the comment section. Number one, like I said, discrimination in America is supposed to be illegal. Discrimination based on race or sexuality is supposed to be illegal, right? How come I can't do it? I have no problem with them doing this. But when you tell me I can't hire just all big booty white bitches, or I can't hire just all white males, when you tell me that I have to meet some sort of quota of minorities, or you tell me that I can't refuse someone service or a job because of their sexuality, while you simultaneously refuse service or services for white people or straight people, it makes no sense to me. And I'm curious to the audience, what do you guys think about this? Let's take a look at the story.
Tonight in Palm Springs, a new pilot program for providing financial support for transgender and non-binary residents is in the works. News Channel 3's Jake Ingrassia has more tonight on how the city hopes to tap into millions of dollars in state funding to help LGBTQ homelessness and poverty.
Can you imagine being one of the homeless people that maybe isn't LGBTQ and being like, I would like some help? They're like, nah, man, you don't suck enough dick to get help from us. Can you believe this shit?
Palm Springs City Council putting $200,000 toward researching and designing a guaranteed income program for transgender and non-binary residents. The city partnering with local nonprofit organizations DAP Health and QueerWorks to develop a program.
One of the most marginalized populations in our city.
What does marginalized mean? No, let's seriously ask ourselves. What does marginalize? In fact, let's do it. Definition of marginalize. A group or a person treated as insignificant or peripheral. What does that mean? There you go, right there. What does that mean? What makes them feel insignificant, treated? Like, how are transsexuals or gays or minorities treated as insignificant or peripheral as a whole by the government, by business? I'm curious of how you came up with the idea that everyone else is marginalized, because you say the same thing about women. You say the same thing about everybody but the white straight male. How is it that all these people who have extra programs are marginalized? You mean because people like me think they shouldn't have extra programs just because they suck dick, or just because they're black, or just because of whatever? How does that make them marginalized? Because some people find them weird? That doesn't marginalize them. Yes, a dude dressing up like a woman is weird. We've all grown up to know this our entire lives. A dude in a dress is weird. That's not hateful. It's just the truth. It's not normal. Weird means not normal, abnormal. And as you clearly see by the numbers, it is abnormal.
Gender and non-binary individuals.
There's no such thing
some
as
of the
non-binary.
highest levels of housing insecurity, joblessness, and discrimination.
This is a
Do
chance
they?
to
How
help
so?
individuals receive money to subsidize the gap in income that the trans and non-binary community faces due to having some of the highest levels of unemployment in this country.
The money, which
Wow.
could total $600 to $900
Wow.
to 20 participants each month, would come after applying.
So you dress up like a fucking train or a cat or a rabbit, and you come into my place of business and you're dressed like a cat or train or rabbit, and you will sit down with me to seriously inquire for a job, and I'm like, I'm not hiring some dude dressed up like a cat or a train or a rabbit. And all of a sudden now you're marginalized because you decided to play dress up and normal society finds it weird. Maybe we shouldn't play dress up. Maybe we should dress the part. Remember that? Dress for success, dress the part. Put on your Sunday best when you go to a job interview. It's not that hard, dummies.
From the state budget, about 50% of the funding would have to be matched.
These people are
California has
fools.
$35 million available for these programs.
That's horrible.
And our trans and non-binary residents need a piece of that pie.
Councilmember Christy Holstage saying
Crazy.
there's an urgency to tap into that money, but Palm Springs stands a good chance.
Since there are very few inland California cities that are doing these pilot programs, we might be at the top of the list for state funding because the state wants to distribute this equitably.
The vote was unanimously in support.
This is
President
fucking
Lisa Middleton
ridiculous.
Worried about the small scale of the project, with 400,000 in poverty in Riverside County.
My serious concern is the ability
What the
of these
fuck?
guaranteed income program.
We live in a fucking clown world. We live in a straight up fucking clown world. That's a man, baby. That's a man. What is wrong with us? God. Russia, Putin. I don't know if you can hear me. Please take us to just end it all. Just please.
To scale
This is the
up
craziest
the
shit.
magnitude of the issues that are before us.
We estimate we will bring well over $1 million to Palm Springs, and it will translate into improved housing and healthcare outcomes.
Money for the marginalized, and a new program soon to come.
Son of a
Jason
bitch.
Gracia, News Channel 3, Palm
Son
Springs.
of a bitch. This shit just never stops. $200,000 they're going to spend on guaranteed income scheme. Unanimously, the council voted. This is bizarre. This is the broad that introduced it. This is the dude that thinks he's a chick that's the mayor of the fucking town. My pronouns are they, them, and theirs. God damn. Yep. So that's what's happening. That's what's going on here. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you think about this goofiness. This goddamn... It's just weird, man. My problem isn't the gays. Listen, if you want to be dressed up and gay, go fuck yourself. That's your problem. My problem is the allowed discrimination one way, but not the other. Fine. You want to discriminate me for being a white straight male? I'm okay with that. I'm a grown-ass man. I can handle my own. But let me discriminate against y'all. Why do you get to discriminate against me, but I don't get to discriminate against your punk ass? What kind of sense does that make, man? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Shit.